All right, so we missed the intro. It's all good. Okay, so knowledge module structure and libraries. You can access the knowledge module in ServiceNow using the knowledge link under self-service. That will take you to the homepage that everyone's familiar with seeing, which I'll show you in a minute. In order to access the new homepage, you're going to click the home button in the top right-hand corner, which I'll also show you. In that screen, you're going to see all the knowledge bases that you have access to. The two that we're going to be talking about today are the EIT library, which is used for internal support documentation, and the Learn IT library, which is used for end user self-service support. A little bit about roles. So we have knowledge managers. That's everyone on the service management team. And we will be reviewing submitted articles, publishing those, and addressing flagged articles and comments. Knowledge contributors, which is all of you, anyone with an ITIL role, and you'll be creating and editing articles. And then we have knowledge users. They have just search and view capability of articles, and then they can also leave feedback on articles by flagging, commenting, and also rating. So some things that are new from where we've come from. We have new templates. There's 5 new templates: overview, problem resolution, how-to, FAQ, and news. And there's 2 sets of these templates, one for the EIT library, which has basic formatting, no branding, and then the Learn IT templates, which have more advanced formatting, and we've added some end user branding to that. Other than that, those 2 sets are pretty much the same in layout. The information you're going to be providing is pretty much the same for both as well. We did move some content around and rename some headings on the Learn IT templates, mostly just to be a little more end user friendly. And we updated the formatting of notes and important content with icons instead of the traditional color coding, and that was for accessibility. The other big change is article workflow. So previously we had no workflow on the articles. When you created an article or edited an existing article, it was automatically published when you hit save. These libraries both have approval workflows on them now for new articles, edits to articles, and also for retiring. This is just a sample of an EIT knowledge base article, kind of gives you an idea of what the templates look like for that one. And then this is a sample of the Learn IT knowledge base article. You'll notice the logo and some color that's been added. So there's 2 ways to create a new article. You can apply a template in ServiceNow and fill it in using the internal editor. You can also fill in a Word template and attach it to a new article in ServiceNow if you don't feel comfortable using the editor that's in ServiceNow. So now I'm just going to give you guys kind of a quick demo on how to do all those things. So this is the homepage that everyone's probably used to seeing. You'll get to this by clicking Knowledge under Self-Service. You can go to the new home page by clicking this home button in the top right corner. Maybe. There we go. So this is the new knowledge module homepage. Each knowledge base is represented in one of these boxes. Again, you may see less of these because you'll only see what you have access to. EIT, Learn IT, those are the 2 that we're going to be concerned with. So if you go to one of the libraries, you can create new, and we're just going to do article. We're not using questions yet. So this is the edit form for a new article. In this case, because I went to the EIT library and clicked create new, it's already filled in the knowledge base for me. If you click create new from other places outside of a knowledge base, it's going to prompt you to enter the knowledge base here. The topic and category are two fields that we aren't using anymore. Eventually you'll see these disappear from this form, but for now they're still there. And we don't want these filled out, so you can just leave them as none. We're going to come back to knowledge base category in a minute. We're going to want to add a CI based on the service that you're writing the article about. And then over here on the right side, the two fields you need to be concerned about are roles. If you are writing an article in the EIT library, you want to make sure to add an ITIL role to the article. And then also for Tier 3 teams, if you want the article to only be visible to Tier 3 teams, you'll want to add the Tier 3 role as well. I'll just add an ITIL here. Pretty easy. And then the last field up here is the meta field. And this field is used to enter keywords or tags that you would use to search for the articles. So you can enter single words or phrases, and though as many as you want, separated by commas. So I sort of skipped over knowledge base category. This is also a field that needs to be filled out, but right now there's a little quirk in ServiceNow. So you're not able, if you select this now, when you select a template, it will clear the field. So you're going to want to select your template before you fill out the knowledge base category. But I think I'll show you how to do this now because we're not going to save this anyway. So when you click the search button, it's going to bring up all the categories associated to that knowledge base. Just scroll through, find one that looks like it applies. All right, so this is the editor. And the first field is the short description. This is the title of the article. And then, like I said, the next thing you're going to want to do is insert a template. You're going to use this drop down to do that. This is going to display all the templates that you can use in this knowledge base. So we'll just pick one, and it will automatically insert the template. So quick layout of the template. There's a lot of instructional text here. It's all enclosed in chevron brackets. All that text is really just there to help guide you through the template, what content needs to go in what section. And then a lot of the sections are optional. So the instructional text will also tell you when you can opt out of a section. So if you find that something's not applicable, for instance, like terminology is often not applicable to most articles, so you can just delete that entire section. We don't want to leave empty sections in an article, so if you're not going to use one, just make sure you delete it. And then also, before you submit your article for publishing, you're going to want to make sure that you delete all the instructional text. So these are all the sections. The meat of the article in this case is the steps section. There are a couple of different ways to write steps. One is just a traditional numbered list. I would recommend using this if you have 5 or less steps and maybe 1 or 2 images that go with those steps. If you're going to have more than 5 steps and more than 1 or 2 images, I would use the step action table. It's a little clearer, easier layout, so that is what I would do for that. These are pretty easy to fill in. You're just going to type in your step number, type in some instructions, and then you can insert an image for each step if you need to. For the numbered list, if you do have an image or two that you want to add to a step, the easiest way to do that is to type out your step, and then at the end, press Shift Enter, and it'll drop your cursor down right underneath the step. So it's clear that that image goes with that step, versus if you just hit Enter, it's going to try to enter a new number, and it can get pretty messy. Some of the other elements, there's an optional if then. This is just if you have decisions that need to be made in the procedure. Again, totally optional, and you can delete it if it's not necessary. There's a video section in every template. I think most people probably won't be using videos, but if you do need to insert a video into an article, you should probably contact the service management team, because it can be a little difficult to do. There is a video insert tool on the toolbar up here, but it doesn't really work very well. So if you need to insert a video, just let us know and we can help get that done. Then we have related resources. This is going to be links to other articles or outside resources, so maybe things on Basecamp or shared drives, folders, that kind of thing. Could also be like vendor documentation. And then escalation information. Here you're just going to put whatever department or team you want issues escalated to and their contact details. Again, you can delete rows that you're not using. Logging an incident section. This is really for GSD, so that when they're logging an incident, that they're using an article to solve the problem, they have all the information that they need. Take your best guess on these. There's also this link to an article here that gives you all of the options for category, subcategory, resolution code, and resolution action. So if you're at a loss and you have no idea what those options are, you can go to this other article and it'll give you a list of all the options. So hopefully from there you'll be able to figure it out. If you have trouble figuring it out, you can definitely still submit your article and we can help fill in those gaps. Below this horizontal line on every template is a bunch of optional elements that you can use. So some of these are repeated from the elements that are in the main portion of the template, and that's just so that if you need to, say, add a bulleted list somewhere, for instance, you can just copy and paste this wherever you need it. And then it retains all the formatting for you. You don't have to mess with it. And then other things here are the note and important, which I mentioned we changed the formatting for those. So you'll want to make sure that if you need to add a note anywhere in the article or some important critical information that you want to emphasize, use this important one. Easiest way to copy and paste these is select the table, hold down your control key on your keyboard, and then select the rest of it. Sometimes if you try to select using another method, it will only select the text, and then things don't get laid out properly. So that's the easiest way. It can be a little tricky though. And then there's also an optional subheading here that isn't included in the main portion of the article. There's not a lot of use for this, but if you find that you need a subheading, you can go ahead and copy and paste this wherever you need it. And then let's look at a Learn It template really quick. They are very similar, but there are some subtle differences. So other than branding and formatting, the differences in these templates is that we've changed the additional resources heading to say learn more, and we've changed the escalation information heading to say need more help. Again, this is just to make everything a little bit more user friendly. Um, and then under the need more help, so this is escalation information essentially, we've added just some generic text for how to contact GSD, walk-up desks, and there's a link to more contact information in case people are not here in the US. There's also walk-up desk locations in that link. So typically, this is all the information that would go under this section. You could also put something more specific if you have like a team DL that you want people to reach out to for help or more information. You could add that in here as well. Another major difference is the logging and incident section. This template doesn't have the table at the bottom. We've moved that to the footer. So it's just a little less obvious to users because, again, this is really information for GSD. Same information here, you're gonna fill it out the same way. Everything below the horizontal line, again, is optional. The only difference in this template is we've added this pilot or proof of concept heading. So if you're writing an article for a service that's in pilot or proof of concept, you'll just want to copy and paste this to the top of the article so that people know right away this isn't a service that's widely available. I think that is the main difference in all of these. As a reminder, everything below the horizontal line you're going to want to delete before you submit the article for publishing. And then also on the Learn IT articles, you don't need to put any roles on that. If you put roles on it, then end users won't be able to see it. So just make sure you don't add any roles there. I'm just going to click through a few slides here. There's a whole section of slides that explain all of everything that I just went over in step-by-step detail. And then there's also links to articles that can help you write new articles if you need to. So now we're going to talk about revising published articles. And this actually looks quite a bit different from what we're used to seeing. So if I want to edit this article, I'm just going to go to the article. I'm going to click on the edit button. And the same form is going to come up, but as you move down the form, you're going to notice some significant differences. So because we have a lot of older articles that maybe haven't been completely updated to our new standards, you're just going to want to check over all the fields at the top if you're editing articles. Like in this case, there's still a topic here, so we would want to clear that field. And then also, a lot of older articles don't have any meta in there, so you want to add that if it's missing. So the first section you're going to see in an existing published article is the current content section. This is the currently published content. This is a read-only field, so you can't make any changes in here, but you can copy and paste this text to the revised content section or to other sources if you need to. So this second section is the revised content section, and this is where you're going to make all of your changes. And you can do that in a few ways. If you need to update the template for an article, you're just going to want to select whatever template you're going to use, and then probably, and we're having a fire drill. So I suppose we will.
May I have your attention, please? May I have your attention, please? An emergency has been reported in the building. While this report is being verified, please proceed to the nearest stairwell, walk to the ground level, and exit the building.
Okay, so for everyone on the phone, if you can hear me, we will dial back in as soon as this is over. If it takes too long, I'll just message you guys and we can reschedule.
May I have your attention, please? May I have your attention, please? May I have your
Yeah, thank you.
You're back.
We're back.
Clarence pulled the alarm. Sorry, guys.
Hmm. Okay, looks like we have most people still on the line, so yeah. And I think we're still recording. Cool. Yeah. I know. It'll be interesting trying to edit. Okay, everybody. Now if I can figure out where I was. Um, oh, so I was showing you how to edit articles. So there's a few ways to start editing content. You can select a template. I think we went over that. And then the other way, so you're only going to select a template if the current oh, thank you, Clarence. Sorry, guys, on the phone. I forgot to share my screen again. All right. I think we're good now. All right. So if you don't need to insert a new template, you can just use this button to copy the current content. That'll copy everything into the revised content section, including the short description. And then you can just make your edits from here the same way you would if you were creating a new article. The last field on this form is the previous content section. And this has, if there is a previous version of the article since we implemented these changes a couple of months ago, that content will show up here. So ServiceNow automatically sort of backs up the last published version of an article. If this section is empty, you don't need to worry about it. It's really here in case you need to restore a previous version. So if there were edits made to the article and they're just completely wrong, or you just want to go back to the last version, you can do that by using the copy previous button, and it'll copy all the previous content in. And then, so once you've completed all your changes, you want to click save and then submit, and submit will submit the article for review to our approval queue. You can save as many times as you need to while you're editing the article. One thing to keep in mind is that ServiceNow does have a timeout, and it's fairly quick. So I would say if you are going to leave editing or creating an article for more than a minute or two, you're going to want to save and then go do whatever you need to do and then come back to it. If you don't save before you leave an article, even if you leave your browser open, it's going to time out. You're going to come back and it's going to look like everything is fine and you can keep typing content. But when you go to save, it's going to take you back to the home page and all your changes will be gone. So make sure you save early, save often. Okay. So again, these next slides are all just going over exactly what I went over in the demo. breaks down each section. So this is really just for your review later if you need to. Some tips for the edit form and also some new features. For the new workflow, there are some new checkboxes that you'll notice on the articles. There's a publish and review checkbox, a pending retirement checkbox, and submission rejected. So if you go into an article and someone has already submitted the article for approval, you're going to see a check in the publish and review checkbox. And you'll also get this, you'll also get this message that tells you that the article has already been submitted for review by someone else, and only the user who submitted for approval can make changes to the article now. If you go into an article and you don't get that message and you're able to edit, but you see content in the revised content section, that means that somebody is in the middle of revising an article and they've saved changes, but they haven't submitted for approval yet. In that case, you're probably going to want to check with whoever last updated the article and just find out where they are in their revisions and work with them to make whatever updates you need to make to the article. If you start making updates in that revised content section where their content is, it won't do any kind of merge. It will just get rid of their changes and overwrite with your changes. So the pending retirement checkbox, that'll get checked if you want to retire an article. Retiring articles also requires approval. So if you go into an article and submit for retirement, it will check this box so that when other people look at the article, they'll know that it's been submitted for retirement. And then the submission rejected checkbox, that'll get checked if someone submitted the article for approval and whoever did the review needs more information or can't publish the article the way it is, they'll reject the article and ask the author to make whatever changes need to be made. In the meantime, their changes will stay in the revised content section, and you'll see this submission rejected checkbox checked. Oops. Also, you can't submit an article for review if you haven't made any revisions. You'll get an error message and it won't let you submit. There are still a couple of known issues with the new edit workflow, the revision process. So when you create a new article, there's a link at the bottom of the article that says View Article. If you click on that, it'll bring up sort of like a preview of whatever content you've entered. But if you're editing an already published article, that link will just take you to the published version of the article. So currently there's no way to preview changes that you make to articles. And then also there's an old way to select and insert a template. And those of you who've authored articles before would be familiar with this. So up here at the top in the additional actions menu, there's a templates option, apply template. If you're used to inserting templates that way, we need to not insert templates that way. If you do that specifically on already published articles, it will actually clear the content in the current content section, and so you'll lose the currently published article and it'll just publish a blank article. And there may be a way to recover, but in general, rule of thumb, just always use the drop down here to select a template. We kind of already talked about retiring articles. Those require approval as well. If you run into an article that's been retired and you need to unretire it, you can do that. All you need to do is open the article, click that copy current content button, and then save and submit, and that will submit it to the queue to be republished. Changing the title, you can definitely do that as well if that's all the changes you want to make. Again, just use the copy current button and then change the title, save, submit, same will happen. We already talked about changing the template, so. Review process. Basically what you guys need to know is that when you submit an article for publishing, there's a few things that we're going to be looking for as reviewers. Mostly the form fields at the top of the article. We want to make sure all those are filled out properly. And then the text field, which is the main content area. We're going to be looking that the appropriate template's selected, the description line is filled out, all the placeholder text has been deleted, the optional elements at the bottom have been deleted, steps are clear, hyperlinks are valid, all of those things. That's what we're going to be looking for when we review articles. And if you are curious about what the status of an article that you've submitted is, you can go to ServiceNow and click on My Knowledge Articles, and then you can view the workflow column and it'll tell you what the status of any of your knowledge articles are. For basic users, and you guys as well, anyone who's going to be using articles, not just authoring, there's a few ways that you can access articles and search. So there's a search bar. Actually, I'm going to go to ServiceNow. So if you're on like the home page or any page in ServiceNow, you're going to see this search box at the top. This is like the global search, so it searches everything. So you're going to enter keywords here. You're going to get back a lot of results, not just knowledge articles. So you can also, from this home page, you can select a specific knowledge base and then enter keywords here. But really the best way to search for articles is to go to that new home page and select the knowledge base that you want to search in, search here. It's going to give you the best results. You can also search for articles within incidents. That's probably mainly for GSD because they're going to be attaching articles as resources that they use to resolve incidents. Talked about that. I think I mentioned that when you submit an article, a new article for review, it won't be immediately discoverable in search. So you'll need to view the article and then click on the copy permalink text that's at the bottom of the article. You can copy that link, and then if you ever need to go back to the article for some reason, you can use that link to get back to it. These are just some search tips that you can review later. The last thing is providing feedback. So if you see an article that you think something needs to be fixed or added, the best way to do that is to add comments to the article. So there's a lot of feedback mechanisms on articles, but this is really the main way that we're monitoring for issues. And we run a daily report for comments, so our team is monitoring those daily and responding. This is a list of articles that we've created specifically referencing all the information that I shared today, along with a ton of other information that I didn't go into, lots of details on creating, editing, articles, the review process, who to contact, all that good stuff. All right, so any questions?
May I have your attention, please? May I have your attention, please? May I have your attention, please? We're on floor 4, 5, and 6. You can go back. If you are on floors 4, 5, and 6, you can go back now. Thank you.
All right, if there's no questions from anyone on the line, I don't think there's any questions in the room. So we're going to wrap up a few minutes early. If anyone has any questions, please feel free to reach out to anyone on the service management team. And we've recorded this session, so either later today or tomorrow, I will send out the recording and also the deck so that you guys can reference all the material. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.